All right, we are live. Peace and love, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, please like and subscribe. And I am Queen Tamara, and we are here again for Ask the Herbalist Hour. We took a little break and just to do some housekeeping. And so we're back with some new content. And tonight we have our beloved guest, Brother Manifest Rod, joining us. And we are going to be talking about being a conscious creator or becoming a conscious creator of your life instead of moving through life and feeling like you are a victim of circumstances or things just happen to you. Move into a space where you change your narrative and you're actually making mindful decisions and setting goals and affirmations that actually make you the creator of your life or your destiny, if you will. So, we're going to be talking about ways to become aware of our consciousness around us, within us, and living from a place where we're mindfully creating our lives and creating our days and setting the tone for everything. So let's welcome Brother Manifest. How are you this evening?
Sister Tamara, it is a pleasure and a blessing to be here with you this evening.
Thank you.
And I'm just excited to share and be a part of this broadcast.
And we're excited to have you with us. So, can you share a little bit about yourself, your background?
Absolutely. My name is Manifest Ra. Born in Tallahassee, Florida.
Mhm.
Where many know the Black Seminoles, the original Seminoles originated, so to speak. And so,
Mhm.
very much a fighting spiritual warrior energy for what's right, for doing good in the world. And I've been on the healing path, the metaphysical path, for many decades now, giving thanks.
Mhm.
And my primary modality for love, light, and healing is Qigong. That's the ancient practice of energy cultivation, harnessing one's life force, all aspects of their being, as well as the universal energy, the sun, moon, the stars, all of the elements of nature for personal empowerment and healing, for collective family healing, for community healing, and planetary healing. So I'm also a mindful meditation a facilitator, Reiki practitioner, Tai Chi practitioner, and many other things. But most importantly, I just try to show up as a humble servant in the spirit of love and light, and do what I can to bring more healing energy to the planet.
Give thanks, give thanks. And you do. You are a brilliant Qigong teacher, and I appreciate you.
Hey,
All
thank you so
right.
much. Mhm.
And as the name Manifest says, I was just wondering, were you given that name or is it something that you chose?
I would say it chose me.
It chose you. Okay.
It wasn't my birth name. However, I remember in the year 2000, I was going through a fasting and purification process, and also just really just read many books on spirituality and metaphysics. And that whole name just downloaded. Anytime you go through a purification process where you're detoxing and you're letting go of what no longer serves you, you're making
Mm-hmm.
room for a higher flow, a more heightened flow of abundance. And so oftentimes we get downloads, we get
Mm-hmm.
insights, we get clarity. And
Yes.
Manifest Ra came. And I said, wow, Manifest Ra, what is that? Yeah, I was reading a book about ancient Kemetic healing and metaphysics and yoga. But so I was tuning in to Ra, but Manifest Ra. So I said, well, let me look into this. Now, at the same time, that name was downloaded to me, I had also started to practice Qigong right around the same time. So when you look at Qi means energy, Gong means cultivation or
Yes.
refinement.
Yes.
Manifest Ra symbolized by the sun, but from a more expansive perspective, it's the universal life force that pervades all of the universe, synonymous with Qi. So Qigong, Manifest Ra, very similar, essentially saying the same thing, cultivating the divine life force, bringing forth more love and light. And so I chose to gravitate towards Qigong, and at the same
Mm-hmm.
time I did that, the name Manifest Ra chose me.
Give thanks for that. Yes, I am very aware of the downloads too. And then, like you said, the name chose you. And so you do walk in that um, light of expression of the term manifest Ra. Um, how did you learn to become a conscious creator? Like, what was the process that you used?
Well, it's I would say it started really in my childhood. I've parents really instilled a sense of critical thinking, and I think that's very important that we learn how to think critically,
Hmm.
and that we also share those approaches with our children, those around us who are open to thinking critically. We have a left brain and a right brain. The right brain is more intuitive. We're talking about Qigong, yoga, and Reiki, and many of the holistic modalities, a bit
Hmm.
more what we call intuitive, psychic, right brain.
Hmm.
Well, the left brain is the more analytical. It's analyzing. It's the to-do list. Is budgeting. It's thinking things through. And most people in this Western Hemisphere, in this hyper technological world, are in their left brain,
Hmm.
and that means they're not in their right mind.
That's a
But
good
that's
one.
another story. But so I had parents who taught me how to think critically and to read certain texts or read certain magazines at a very early age and talk about what did I learn from that and being able to articulate and debate that. And so at a certain age, I began to just look at the world differently, not from a consumer point of view of, okay, I'm just showing up here now through Monday through Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Looking
Hmm.
forward to Saturday, Sunday. And then, oh my God, oh, Monday's back. I can't take it.
Right.
No, very early on, I started to see things differently. Like, I don't want that to be how I show up in the world. And
Yeah.
again, that all started with my parents and other people challenging me to think critically. And anytime you're challenged to think critically, not only do you start critically thinking about what's right in front of you, you began to apply that across the board in life. So
Indeed.
I said, okay, hey, I don't want to just be a consumer, be somebody that runs on automatic, if you will, be just an automatic version of some other download by way of another source, a government, things of that nature. So I started to just think critically. I started to meditate as well. And when I started to combine both the left brain analytical critical thinking skills with the right brain the intuitive psychic understanding of things, then I began to just tune in the source, and then during that reflective time being able to interpret what I tuned into in a more left brain analytical point of view. And so when you're able to
Mhm.
do that, you're able to tune into source and see life from an hemispheric, an entirely different perspective, and you know that you're not a a consumer. You are here. It is your birthright to be a creator, a conscious creator, meaning that your
Yes,
thoughts, your emotions, energy, and motion, they all create living entities in the universe that bring
absolutely.
about certain circumstances in one's own life. So, um,
Mm.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like how you put that. Absolutely. And there's something that I use to help guide me with being a conscious creator in my own life because years ago not feeling like I was consciously creating anything, just feeling like, you know, life was just giving me lemons and not, things weren't going as I wanted them or as I planned. And um is recognizing that all of our divine gifts and our thoughts and things begin in the spiritual realm, and then they start to manifest and take on a form in our physical world, or um, the world that we are the most active in. And so that's something that I keep in mind all the time, is how I'm thinking and what I'm consciously thinking about, and how to create or shift the energy around me and what's going on with me. So is that something that you also do, or how do you make that manifest?
Absolutely. I think one of the ways that really resonates with me is listening within
Hmm.
and having a conversation with source. When we say source, that infinite nature of the universe that represents everything we see and we don't see. It's the voice that says go left when you're looking for guidance and direction.
Yeah.
It's when you're saying, man, I don't know how to figure out how to do this, but you just get that sign that says, um, keep it simple, do it this way. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, okay, that was always right in front of me. So there is a divine intelligence. All right.
Absolutely.
Oftentimes we think of artificial intelligence, which is what we're using right now in terms of the platform, the StreamYard, and we oftentimes use it through Zoom, and they have their place, but they pale in comparison to the divine intelligence. And so we
Absolutely.
have to be clear on that. The divine intelligence is everything we see and we don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Artificial intelligence oftentimes is what we are able to tangibly see. So, with that being said, I listen in to divine intelligence. I set aside, or I wouldn't even say I set aside, I make it a process to always be open to that. And then I have certain exercises, certain approaches throughout the day, how I wake up,
Mm-hmm.
gratitude, do some deep breathing, do some qigong, some slow, graceful, energetic movement, where I'm tuning in. I'm tuning into my body. I'm tuning into the energy within me and the energy around me, oftentimes out in nature. And so, with that being said, I'm getting clarity and downloads because I'm in that place of stillness. Even when I'm moving, it's a
Mm-hmm.
slow, graceful movement where I'm able to be still within and get those downloads. And then when I get clarity on whatever I have clarity about, I understand that it's not just me. It's a message. It's something that I'm supposed to do for that particular day or a certain aspect of my life. Then I can hold that frequency, hold that thought pattern, that consciousness, if you will, or that clarity of thought, and then that becomes more of a vision. I see. Okay, that then becomes a more grander approach where I am seeing the vastness of the possibilities there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's how I tune in and I manifest. I listen in first, so it's the whole
Yes.
yin and the yang piece where you listen in from that place of yin and you get still, and then whatever the divine intelligence downloads, then you say, okay, I'm clear now. Then with that clarity of mind, I'm holding the vision, all
Mm-hmm.
right, and then that vision also becomes uh, um, uh, it's where I set my intentions, my specific goals relevant to that grander vision. And then I hold that vision. I return to that throughout the day. And that's how I feed that energetic entity that you're creating. And one of the mantras or the sayings we have in Qigong and energy work is wherever the mind goes, energy flows.
Absolutely.
So when you get that download, you're like, okay, aha, I'm supposed to do this now. Like I was thinking the other day, I was like, okay, I'm writing this book, but it's not quite time for me to write that book as a result of a number of life circumstances. So I know I'm supposed to be writing a book now. So I got quiet in front of my altar. And as I was getting quiet and I was actually going through some energy work and some mantras and some affirmations, the download came. Hmm,
Mm-hmm.
write this book. This is the one that's urgent right now, that people want right now. And so now I'm holding that vision, if you will, from that download as part of my daily primary uh, thought process.
Mm-hmm. All right, great. And I like that statement that you made, go within, because the answers that all of us are seeking, we all have access to that, just tapping within. And that's so important to make that connection. So people who are out there who are listening, who are unhappy or dissatisfied with their lives, the first thing you should do, I think, is to get quiet, get still, and to connect to source or connect to that higher part aspect of your yourself that always gives you that answer, that self-accusing spirit, for lack of a better term, or that still voice within that is always there and always available to you, that can give you the guidance. And that's a good starting point. Another thing that you mentioned is how you start your day, and that is so important, that we begin each day with, even the day before, the night before. I don't think, don't go to sleep with just the stresses of the day or the worries of the day on your mind. You actually have to set an intention, and clear your mind for the evening, so that when you do eventually fall to sleep, you'll be in a more peaceful, um, restful state, and won't have the thoughts that running through your mind, the racing thoughts on your mind while you're sleeping. So you have a more peaceful, more purposeful sleep. And when you start your day, you'll have a better sense of clarity the next day. Can you share with us some of the things that you do to prepare, for creating your day, or your I know you probably have some evening rituals or morning rituals. What is it that you do?
Well, one of the best ways to have a successful day is to prepare for it the night before.
Mhm.
And so, I just want to be clear on that, because if we're not doing the things properly the night before, we won't feel like waking up the next day.
This is true. This is
And
true.
so, we can have the best of intentions, like, okay, I'm going to get up at 6, 7 and do A, B, C, and D. But if
Mhm.
you're up till 3 o'clock the night, in the morning, rather, and then you're trying to wake up at 6 or 7, you're going to hit the alarm clock. Okay. I really don't feel like getting up. Even if you have to, if you force yourself to get up, you're not going to be really in sync to do anything of real empowerment and value before you start your day. So I would say people should have a bedtime ritual, something that they do before they go to sleep, that allows them, helps them get into that peaceful yin sleep, where
Mhm.
they're not up tossing and turning, checking the refrigerator, checking their phone. You know what I mean? Getting that turkey sandwich at 2 in the morning. I ain't got nothing else to do. Let me turn that. Let me turn the TV on
Maybe
and watch
right.
CNN. No, shut it down. This is right now. This is the evening time. This is what we call the yin cycle. The time to slow
Mhm.
everything down, to stop. All right. Begin the process of just calming things down, dimming the lights, drinking some herbal tea. Um, Want to unplug from technology,
Mhm.
ideally about 30 minutes before you go to sleep, at least.
Yeah.
Because what happens is that through the technology, you have this electromagnetic stimulation that's always stimulating the left and the right brain. And then thoughts and emotions and visions and everything that's coming up from the phone, from the computer, from the social media, the internet. And so it becomes really impossible for people to get a good night's sleep, because they're missing their sleep cycle. 11 to 12
Mhm.
o'clock, where they should be really in that zone, they're up. Now they can't go to sleep. So, best way to prepare for the next day is get a good night's sleep,
Mhm.
have a bedtime ritual.
Mhm.
Take those baths, not just a shower, but some baths a couple of times a week, where you
Yeah.
really just slow things down, and you
Right.
say, hey, for about 30, 40 minutes or so, just turn on some relaxing music, turn the lights off, whatever. I'm just going to allow everything to just be released in this moment. Whatever it is that's healthy, that can be a release, do that. Turning on some calming music is very great. All kinds of music that you can find on YouTube and other varieties, where it allows you to get into that Zen space before you
Mhm.
go into sleep.
Mhm.
And so then when you wake up, I would say make it a point to wake up if you can without the alarm clock. If it's just an absolute necessity because of your schedule maybe keeps you up a little bit later than you want to, then
Mhm.
you don't want to miss your financial or employment obligations. But ideally, we want to get to a place where, because we're doing the right things the night before, we don't even need an alarm clock, because the
Mhm.
alarm clock itself it's like a fire alarm. You know what I
It
mean?
is.
It's a shock to the energetic
It
system,
is. It is.
and that's not what's ideal for multidimensional spiritual beings having a human experience.
Good
And
answer.
so we're having certain things that are happening in that dream state, whether we remember the dream or not. And so we need time when we wake up for a few breaths, or maybe in a few minutes, to really get acclimated, to bring our energy back into our physical body,
Mhm.
to settle back in, to have a moment of gratitude. If the alarm clock goes off and you got to reach for it and it's going off and you mad because the damn thing went off and all that kind of
Right.
stuff. You know what I'm saying? You already like, man, it's gonna be a crazy day. You know what I mean? The
Mhm.
alarm went off, that kind of thing. So, in other words, get to a place where you're going to bed at the right time in the right way. So
Mhm.
when you wake up, you can wake up more often without the alarm clock through your natural biological clock.
Yes.
And then when you wake up, then have certain rituals from, gratitude. Take about 9 deep breaths, inhales and exhales, nice and slow, before you even get up where you're giving thanks. What am I giving thanks for? I'm giving thanks for breathing, giving thanks for life, for another day, food, clothing, and shelter.
Mhm.
Anytime we express gratitude, which is very much aligned with the heart space, all right,
Yes.
it's healthy. First and foremost, we're filling up our own cup, our beloved cup, our energetic cup is beautiful divine beings. And
Mhm.
then we're also embracing the abundant flow. We're aligning ourselves with the flow of abundance, is giving thanks for what we have, and
Give
then
thanks.
opening
Yes.
ourselves up for more.
More. Yes, that's a good answer. That's a good way to start your rising rituals. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Very good.
Mhm.
All right. So let me see. Next question. It's just been flowing. Didn't really stick to them so much. I think you answered what advice you would give a person to begin the journey of change. I like what you were saying. Get into the flow of waking in the rising with your own biological clock and not with the alarm clock. And I'm getting there. I'm kind of, sometimes still rely on it, but it is an alarm. That's why it's called alarm clock, because it's alarming and it is shocking to your system. And sometimes we feel like we need that just, to get started. But how we set the tone for that day, the precedent for the day is so important as the very beginning of the day. Like the best time for me to rise is between 4 and 6 a.m. I usually get up about 5:30, do my morning or rising rituals as well with prayer, meditation, yoga. I have a set of affirmations that I read. I've been doing that for a few years now. And I noticed that the morning routine goes much more smoother when I get up on time and when I do all of those things, the prayer, the meditation, the affirmations, and also coming out of that state of dreaming, or for lack of a better term, um, the messages and the downloads that we're receiving, I also make a point to write those things down. And so when the clock goes off, that often interrupts your train of thought, or you'll suddenly forget everything. And so I think it's important that we get into that natural rhythm, like you said, with the your own internal clock, and start rising with that, and also knowing when to go to sleep with that, because a lot of people, they feel their body needs the rest, they need to go to bed, but then they say, well, wait a minute, I got one more post to do, or wait a minute, I got some more emails to do, or wait a minute, I got this, or I got to call this, or I'm doing this or this, and then they're ignoring the calling from their body, what the body needs. The body needs sufficient rest, the body needs that quiet time, like you said, the yin time of the day. um so that's very important, how we start our day, and it sets the tone for the rest of the day. And I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. And I mean, how we start our day oftentimes determines the quality of our day. Yeah, we can make the
Mhm.
adjustments, but studies have shown that the most successful people, the highest achievers in all fields of endeavors, uh, they usually, and 9 times out of 10, have a practice between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. that sets the foundation for their day. They're doing
Mhm.
yoga, they're meditation, they're walking, they're working out, quiet time, they're gardening, they're walking the dog, they're reading a newspaper. Basically, essentially, they're purifying and fortifying themselves for the rest of the day,
Mhm.
if you will. And so that's key. It's like the rising sun. It's setting the intention so that when the energy then begins to ascend, you can ascend with it. But if you're not grounded, if you're not in alignment, the day will take off and it'll be gone before you know it. The sun arises and set, and you'll still be trying to find your footing. And so it's very important to have a morning, a grand rising regimen, practices that align with your unique being. What works for you is not going to work for me. And everybody has to really, that's where the whole know thyself process comes in. Somebody else, it might be okay saying prayer, affirmation. Someone else be like, okay, I got to get out in nature. You know what I mean? If it's not raining, if it's not snowing, I'm out in nature. You got to put my feet on the ground. Obviously, you need to have a backyard or a certain area where they can put their feet on the ground and that kind of thing. But even people who don't have that, they got to adapt. You know what I mean? Because, we're as multidimensional beings, we are adaptive. We can embrace the change and go with the flow. Wherever there's a problem, there is an answer. And so people that might live in an apartment complex where it's not immediately green around and a courtyard, you got to declutter your space.
Yes.
You're going to have to create sacred space once you
I like
declutter your
that.
space.
Yes.
And then basically create your own heavenly space, if you will, where you can go in and do that morning ritual and those morning works. So, let's remove the excuses. Wherever you are, you're going to have to create the best version possible of your own sacred space where
I
you can
like
do
that.
your morning routines.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Create their own sacred space. And so that is one of the tools that you would advise people to use to consciously create their own existence and their own be conscious creators. Good answer.
Yes.
Um, I think you already explained this, but what are some of the other benefits that people can experience by consciously working on creating their lives from a place of intention?
Well, I mean, we're all here for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
We don't all know that reason. We don't all know that purpose or that mission.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no one here who's just, here just to breathe a certain amount of inhales and exhales and then just, leave here. Everybody has a reason for being. It's incumbent that we slow down, we actually find out, we find and then align with that purpose, that reason for our life while we're here. And then when we get clarity on that, we can create. It's best to create from that space of even if you don't know what that purpose is. Take the time to find out what makes you tick, what ticks you off, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what makes you who you are. Are you a gregarious, outgoing person? Are you more introspective, more introverted? Once you really just get quiet and you begin to slow down and listen in to who you are, and you create from that space, that's where the real magic is. Too many people, they say, okay, hey, Johnny's becoming an engineer. Maybe I want to go in engineering too. You don't even like math. Why are you trying to be an engineer? Or she's doing massage. Yeah, I can do that too. No, that's not perhaps your calling. You may be better working with hospice. You know what I mean? Helping people make the transition from this life into the next, into the ancestral realm. So, slowing down to tune in and find out what makes us special, what makes us unique, our own unique energetic imprint, and then creating from that space. And when we create, then we create our own reality.
Yes.
That's where the magic comes in. Being the best version of who we're here to be. Not, oftentimes we make, this comment, I don't want to settle. Well, what does that really mean? Settling is not being the best version of who you really are. It's not about your relationship with someone else or just a job. It's, are you settling for not being the best version of who you really are? The fullness of who divine intelligence created you to be. All right.
Yeah.
That's where we settle. When we say, okay, I'm supposed to write that book, but you know what? I just don't have the confidence. I don't feel worthy enough. When you can create from that space of, okay, I got clarity that I'm supposed to write this book on businesses in the community, cooperative businesses, or how or homeschooling, whatever that is,
Mm-hmm.
and then you create from that space, things will come to you, and you'll get downloads that you never imagined because you're in alignment with the vastness of the universe, the infinite nature of the universe itself. So being a creator, the possibilities are endless. You uh, basically craft your own story. Your own life becomes a never-ending, as long as you're here, unfolding of just of cosmic beauty. Even though in the rough spots, you're able to ebb and flow and go with the flow because you always know how to tap into that creative ability. So even you might be going through a trial or tribulation or a rough spot, but since you know how to align with that creative faculty that is within all of us, you know you can create something better, which is right around the corner. So it's being able to, as they say, reinvent yourself at times, saying, okay, hey, who I was in 2021, I really didn't measure up to what I know I'm capable of. But since I know I'm really a creator in my essence, 2022 is going to be the fullness of who tomorrow is here to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fullness where you know you can change at any particular time and be a better version of yourself as this creator.
Ashe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Um, Also, before we end tonight, can you share with people how they can contact you if they have, want to reach out to you, especially for your services with the Qigong,
Absolutely.
services?
They can reach out to me at innergwork.com. That's spelled
I'm gonna put in the comments.
sure, INNER, the letter G,
Capital
dot com.
G,
And INNER, the letter G,
G.
work.com. INNERGWORK.com. Innergwork.com. That's one of the best ways to reach out to me. And, I love to show you some chi flow, some energy cultivation, help you just be the best version of yourself because at the end of the day, we're all energy. We're pure energy, cosmic energy. What we're seeing right now is just a physical, dense version of that, but we're really pure cosmic energy. And so I'm passionate about teaching people how to uh, heal, balance, uh, enhance, augment, amplify their own divine intelligence, which is their true energetic being.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. And thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom this evening on this very important topic and how simple it's a simple science to it. And we oftentimes make it difficult, but it's a simple science to shifting the energy and how the power and um, that divine magic that we all have is within us, and that we do have the power within us to shift our energy and to shift and create the life that we really want for ourselves.
Ashe,
Ashe.
indeed.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate having you on the show. Hopefully you'll be able to join us again another week. And so we thank everyone out there who's listening, and we say peace and love to each and every one of you, and start consciously creating.
Thank you so much.
All right, peace and love.
Peace and love.